Well, I've had some very difficult times. In the early 90s, many of my friends went bankrupt. Many of my enemies went bankrupt also, which I didn't mind at all. But many of my friends never to be heard from again. And I never did go bankrupt, but I was certainly in trouble. And you fight, and you keep fighting, and you use your brain, and you make a lot of moves, and hopefully they're all good moves, or most of them. And you end up being much bigger than you were before. And it is a character builder, and I love the fact that it's a character builder. It's not something you want to go through every 10 years of your life, but you do learn a lot about yourself, Robert.
Right. And the reason we wanted to do this is because, for me, it was in the early 80s. I only went down $1 million, but $1 million.
That's not very much.
I know.
Good.
Today,
congratulations.
Thank you. But $1 million back then was everything. You know, it was everything. I was wiped out. I had nothing. I didn't declare bankruptcy either because I decided to just fight back. And I think that's our message, right? Is that it's a time to fight back. Don't give up. Everybody goes through tough times, and for some people, they come out the other side better. Other people don't, and so we're encouraging people to do better.
Well, I really believe that times like this, where the economy of the world is so bad, you have greater opportunity for financial gain than you would ever have in really good times.
That's correct.
And I tell people, go to the bank, buy a house, work a deal with the bank, they'll take back financing. They said, but we don't have that kind of money. I said, you don't need money. The bank already put the money in. And you'll work out a financing deal, and the bank is dying to get rid of houses that are far nicer than any house you've ever lived in before. So it's very important. I mean, you and I have had great experience. We did a #1 best-selling book, and as you know, you decided to be a little bit penny wise, and you went to a printer for this book because we didn't need a publisher because you had #1 bestsellers. I have #1 bestsellers. So you go to this printer, and you saved about $3, and the company went bankrupt. And so we went from being #1 to being not on the list, and everyone's going crazy saying, where do we get the book?
Right.
So that was probably the fastest drop in history from #1 to you can't get the book. But we learned from that, and I wanted to go to a publishing house, which would have cost a little bit more, but they're solid.
Right.
And I don't say you're wrong, and in many cases you would have been right. For instance, if you went to that same printer 2 years before, they were a hot printer.
Right.
And they would have lasted for 2 years. But you learn lessons in life, and I think we both learned. It was always tough, you know, #1 to nothing. That was a tough one.
That's right.
And we learned something from it.
That's correct. And we just keep coming back and battle back and come out stronger in the whole thing.
Which means in that case, I think our next book will go to the strongest financial company. We'll go to the strongest publishing company, right?
And we'll be smarter next time.
And we'll make a little bit less, but probably we'll make a lot more.
That's right. A lot less headaches.
True.